Hello, and welcome to episode 40 of the Stitching Over the Days podcast. My name is Constance, and I want to welcome you and also thank you for joining me as I talk all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet adventures. I want to thank any new viewers and also any returning viewers. And also, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as cleocmc, that's CLEOCMC. There's also a Ravelry group, Stitching Over the Days, and there is a blog with the show notes, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have a few things to share with you in today's episode, and we'll follow the same layout. I'll start with the finished projects, then we'll move into my works in progress, and I'll share what I'm wearing, and I think I'll end with a little bit of the Give Love Christmas knit along chatter. And so let's get started. So first up, I do have a few crochet items to share with you, just a couple, and these were pretty much spur of the moment projects. I decided that I felt like crocheting, and I just wanted some crochet hats. It first started with I received my I received a new book from Kim Hargrave's shop, which was I ordered the Ravish collection. And in the collection, they had this, oh, there's a picture. Yeah, they had a beautiful crochet hat, and it was called Peaches. And I was like, oh my goodness, I would love to just quickly work that up, because I figured that I could work it up in one night. And so just for the moment, I went to my local yarn store and picked up 2 skeins of the Rowan hand knit cotton. That is what it was made with. And I chose this beautiful, it's called Boysenberry, and it's a K facet color. And the yarn shop had the K facet colors like on a discount, so it was only like $4 per skein, and they had only required 2 skeins. And I think it's just a beautiful beret. It's really lovely, and even though the color is called Boysenberry, it makes me think of Prince's song, Raspberry Beret. And so yeah, I really like it. It was a really easy pattern, and just as I imagined, it worked up super quickly. I finished it in one night, and I really wish I could try it on for you today, but I put my hair in a top bun, so that's not going to look very good. And so I will just include the pictures that I took of myself in the beret at the end of this podcast, so you can get an idea of how it looks on. And so I'm really super happy with it, and I really like that kind of starburst design you get with the baubles. I don't know if it's showing up really nicely, but it's kind of like a starburst design. And I like that also the baubles were mimicked there on the edges. If it'll focus. Yeah, and there it is. But yeah, you see that little cluster of baubles. So I really enjoyed that project, and because I was still kind of in the mood to crochet more, I wanted to make another crochet beret, another design by Kim Hargraves that I made previously before, about a year ago. And this is from her Wilder collection. And this beret is called Birch. Let me see if I can get an image for you. And I made it previously in this like cream color, and I made it with hand knit cotton. But I ended up giving it to my mother. She just absolutely loves white and cream items, and she really liked the hat, so I just let her have it, because I always figured that I could quickly whip myself up another. So even though it took about a year for me to get to it, I did eventually make another. So I decided this time around to make it in my favorite color. That's the pattern. I decided to make it in my favorite color of green. And also I was really happy to revisit working with the Rowan Soviet DK. And so this project required 2 skeins of the Soviet DK, and I made the pasture color. Isn't that beautiful design? And one thing I really like about this beret is how large it is. Like, this one is nice, but it's not as large as this one. You can see. And so I feel like when my hair is out or down, I could wear this one even more so easily. And even when it's not out or down and I just have my hair braided, then I can put the beret over, and then you have an instant like put together look, and it like fully covers the head and it billows out so nicely. It's definitely one of my favorite crochet hat patterns that I've ever done. And I definitely love the peaches beret, but I really love the birch pattern, so much so that I hope that I'm able to make another, maybe in a cream or more neutral color, maybe sometime over the holiday break, when I get a break from all of the Christmas knitting. And really, this was like an indulgence to create these two berets, because really I should have been knitting on the sweaters, but I just really needed a break, and I wanted to try another craft. I didn't even feel like doing any knitting, and so I wanted the repetition or the motion that you get from crochet. And so that's why I quickly cast on these projects. And these colors are holiday inspired, they look like. Yeah. And so I took a break from the sweater knitting to create these, but now I'm like really in the like last few weeks, or last weeks before Christmas. So now I have put it upon myself to not pick up anything except for the sweaters that I'm supposed to knit for Christmas. And so that's all I've been working on now, non-stop. And I'm hoping to really get those projects done before December 25th. So those are the that's the peaches beret, which was this, and the birch beret by Kim Hargraves. Oh, all of the finished projects I realized were by Kim Hargraves in today's episode. And so that's why I decided to wear my more recent Kim Hargraves garment that I finished. Well, not the most recent, but the most recent that I've completed for myself, which is the hanker sweater. And I wore that today. So I did finish a sweater, one of the first of 3 sweaters that I'm trying to complete by Christmas, and that is the blank sweater by Kim Hargraves. And here's the sweater. It's a really large, cozy stockinette sweater, and it is from her Form collection. If it not look so blowed out, let's see. Okay, there it is. And that's the sweater there on the cover. And so the first sweater that I made it in this is the Rowan, let's see, the Rowan Alpaca Classic in Charcoal Melange. And this color, I will say that, like, if you see this texture and that color, it's like a dark color. And it doesn't have much stitch definition, which I'm trying to show to you. Yeah, it keeps focusing on me. But it's a dark color, and because it has that kind of slight fuzziness to it, it doesn't have much stitch definition. So it's really hard to count your rows with this. So I relied heavily on my stitch counter. I stuck to it, and I stayed like making sure I kept track of the rows and place that I was at, because it would have been impossible to kind of count the rows. But the fabric that it produced is so amazing. I just started working with the Rowan Alpaca Classic this season, and I'll say that it is one of my it's becoming, like, I don't want to say it's one of my favorite yarns, but it is a really nice yarn, and I will put it up there in the top tier, because it produces this fabric that is so light, yet it's really cozy. And with such a large sweater like this, like, because the yarn was so light, but it's still substantial and keeps you warm, it's not this really heavy garment on you. It felt like you were just being enveloped in really just this nice, soft, light garment. And I think it was perfect for this project. And for example, this garment here was supposed to be worked with the Rowan Alpaca Classic, but I substituted the Knit Pick City Tweed for the garment. And I love this yarn, but it is a heavier yarn. So I can just imagine that if this was like a full length sweater such as this, because this hanker sweater is a crop sweater, then I feel that it would have been a really heavy sweater, to where you probably would have felt like too hot after a while, or it would have felt too heavy after a while. But this fabric is really light. And the only downside I will say with the Alpaca Classic is that every now and then I would encounter knots in the ball. That's why I don't consider it like my most favorite yarn. And I do find that a bit annoying when you're like knitting and then you encounter a knot, and then you have to snip it and rejoin the yarn and all of that. But other than that, it's a really amazing yarn, and that's why I really like it. And I'm glad that I really like it, considering I'm working with it so much, because I've made my city shawl with it. That was a quite a substantial project. Then I made this garment with it, and I'm working with it again for the second sweater, and then I'll be working with it again for the third sweater. And I would love to make myself a version again in the Rowan Alpaca classes. So it looks like I'll be working with this yarn quite a bit, yes, in the coming over the next 2 months. I didn't make any modifications to the pattern. I did get gauged with the recommended needle sizes. Also, the pattern, one thing I love about this yarn is that it doesn't require like a full sew to block. So what I did was, once I finished all of the pieces, I weaved in the ends, and then I placed it on a towel, and I pinned the pieces according to the schematics, and I placed a damp cloth over the piece, and then I pressed the pieces with a warm iron. And so that went by super quickly, and then I was able to just get started on the back stitching, well, on the seaming, and I did back stitching throughout, but I'm sure you could use your preferred method of seaming, but I decided to go with the back stitching throughout, and so that was nice. Also, I didn't make the sleeves as long as recommended. They recommended 49 centimeter length once you were supposed to keep straight, but I instead went with 46 centimeters, and I think it was a perfect length. And my niece, she's a bit taller than me, but so the sleeves fit me like here, which you'll see in the pictures and the twirl at the end, but I know that they're gonna be slightly higher on her, but I still wanted them to come past the wrist area, so I think that it's going to work out perfectly. And I just love working up this pattern, because I think that because it's such a roomy, cozy garment where the fit isn't very important, it's really nice for gifting to others, because you don't have to worry about the fit so much and how it's going to look on them, because I just think it's going to work out perfectly fine for all of my nieces. And so it's a great pattern to give as a gift, and I'm happy that she chose this pattern, because it was my niece who chose this pattern. And honestly, the pattern wasn't really on my radar, because I remember when I shared the image some months ago over the summer in my stories that my niece wanted this sweater, and someone sent me a message like, oh, you're gonna want one for yourself. And I was like, oh no, I don't think so. I was like, if anything, the sweater that I'm really attracted to was the, let me see what I told her, it was this cabled roomy sweater in this same collection. It's called Form, and I was like, if anything, I would want to make this, because I was like, now that's like my type of roomy boxy sweater, and it's definitely gorgeous. But then when I tried on the sweater, you know, for the images, and I was like, oh my goodness, this sweater is so amazing. It feels so amazing. It's so cozy. It's so light. I didn't want to take it off. It felt amazing, and I was like, you know what, I have to make myself. Now I really want my own version. And so that's like my motivation. I need to finish the 3 sweaters, and then I can finally make a version for myself. Okay, I think that's it for the blank sweater, and I think I cover all of the details. It's really a nice, amazing pattern, and one thing I do like is that it's a lot of stockinette, and so as long as I'm keeping track of my rows, then I can watch a lot of TV and just, you know, get to work and keep working at it. Okay, so that is it for my finished projects. I'm going to take a break and get my current works in progress, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have cast on a new pair of socks, so I kind of have a half-finished object to share with you. So Knit Picks recently released their new colors for the Knit Picks Felicia yarn. And when I saw the colors, I immediately flocked to the aquarium colorway, because it was like all the shades of green, and of course I love green. It's my favorite color, and I thought it was just so beautiful, and so I knew that I wanted to make a pair of socks with that. So I did finish a pair. It's really bright. And let me back it up just so you can kind of see the color a bit, but it's a really bright colorway. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, I would love to have just like a really like bright pair of socks that were like in your face. And so I went to my stash even though I'll be wearing socks and you really won't see them in your face, but I tend to just go bolder when it comes to socks. So I went to my stash and I remember I purchased this highlighter yellow, that's the actual name of it, from Knit Picks, and it's the Knit Picks Stroll. And I thought it would be the perfect complement to this sock. And so that's what I did. I did a contrast toe, heel, and cuff. I actually did follow a pattern. This is it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's called the Vanilla Latte Socks. Let me see who the designer is. And I thought it would be a nice, like, vanilla socks, really easy, but it has a bit of texture to it to really highlight the stripes of the Knit Picks Felici yarn. And the design is by Virginia Rose Jeans, and I really like it. It's a really, really popular pattern on Ravelry. And here it is in the skein. But and there's all the shades. That's a good shot, I think. And so I have started the other sock, but I haven't gotten much progress. But as you all know, well, I just said that this is all I've done on the second sock. I'm trying to focus on the Christmas knitting, and this was again just like an indulgence, just to work up something differently. And so I quickly made up that sock, and it was wait, let me put this back. And I'm using my project bag that was made by my friend Meredith and her mother. How cute is it? That's Rifle Paper Company fabric. I think I shared it previously, but it's a nice project bag and really substantial. I could put the entire sock on a blocker in there. But yeah, so I really enjoyed the pattern. It was of course, you could probably see that it's a really simple and easy pattern, and once you see how things are going, and it gives you different options. Also, I decided to go with the 2x2 cuff because that's what I usually like to go for. And these are the longest socks I've ever made. For some reason, I decided to just go ahead and make it about 7 inches, or is it 7.5 inches, which is quite high because usually I would stop about here for my socks. But I just decided I really like the yarn, and I would like to have a taller pair of socks. And so I did a slip stitch heel, and I did a wedge toe. And the pattern gives you options for different types of heels. I think 3 different types of heels you can do, and different types of toes. But of course I went with my tried and true, my go-to, which is usually that. And of course it was worked top down, which is my preferred method for socks. So I'm enjoying that. I hope to finish that after I complete all of the Christmas knitting. Then I hope to finish that sock and have a new pair of socks. Okay, see, this is why I haven't gone as far with my Christmas knitting as I should have, because I keep picking up projects that I'm not supposed to be working on, like those crochet hats and that pair of socks. But I also picked up my tri-cable stitch jumper. I just couldn't resist casting it on and starting it, even though I knew I wouldn't be able to give as much time to it as I wanted, but I just wanted to work on it. So I took like a couple of nights when I was at home visiting family, my parents. Then I worked on it a few nights there, and this is what I have so far. And so I'm on the back. It's definitely a very intuitive cable stitch pattern, and so you pretty much know what to do once you worked it up a couple of times, and it's easy to memorize, and I love that. And I also love that it's a smaller cable, so I'm able to work it up without using a cable needle. And I'm really enjoying this yarn. Oh my goodness, this is the Pearl Soho linen quill, and the color is I think it was raspberry. Yes, and I just think it feels so good. It's so amazing. I think it looks really nice with the cables. I just love those flecks of linen because I think I've stated it before, but it gives it a tweedy look. And so I just, oh, I'm so ready to finish this art. I'm enjoying working it up, definitely, but I'm ready to wear it even more so because I know it's going to just work so perfectly in my wardrobe, and I just really think it's just such a beautiful and gorgeous pattern. And this pattern is by Susan Crawford. It's from her A Stitch in Time book, volume 2. Let me see. I think I printed out the pattern. It's a beautiful pattern. Oh, here's a good image, yeah. And there's the pattern there. How beautiful is that? Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to have my version complete and off the needles. But how things are going, I think that I'll have it completed in January of 2021, which is still good. So that's not that long from now. And I think that'll still give me time to wear it quite a bit throughout the winter or the colder months, even though I tend to pull out my cardigans in air-conditioned buildings also. Okay, and I have one more work in progress to share with you all, and this is another blank sweater. I'm actually enjoying this blank sweater more. This is for my other niece, my niece Alora. The first one was for my niece Aaliyah, and I'm enjoying this one more because the yarn is lighter. This is the feather gray melange color, and so I can read my stitches quite easily with this one, whereas I couldn't read them at all with the charcoal melange color. And so I'm happy about that. I've been trying to work on it a lot, but as you can see, I haven't made as much progress. I just cast it on 2 nights ago, and so this is what I've done so far. But I was a bit ill on Sunday, so I didn't get any knitting done on Sunday. But I'm fine. I'm much better. And so this is what I've done so far. So I'm hoping to, ideally, I would love to finish the back by Wednesday because I'm just really running out of time, and then I would like to finish the front and back over the course of the next week or so, and then work up those sleeves. I think I mentioned previously, those sleeves, they work up super quickly. I could finish them in about 2 days and they work up nicely, but of course the front and back has a lot of stitches. You have 162 stitches that you're doing of stockinette. And so that's a lot of stitches, for especially for a garment that's 26.5 length. That's the length of the garment, and so it's a lot of stitches, and it's definitely time consuming. But I think that if I just continue to work on it steadily and not pick up any more projects like I've been doing with the tri-cable stitch jumper, the socks, the crochet hats, then I think that I will be able to finish this. I just have to stick to it. I'm hoping that I can finish them. And so I set a goal to finish this sweater in the first week of December, and then I hope to finish the third sweater before Christmas, and then I hope to make my version after Christmas. Of course, that would be after the Give Love Christmas knit along. I just want another version, and I would love to get a shot with a picture with my nieces in all of our sweaters, maybe by New Year's. We'll see. But yeah, I know that that's a lot of knitting. But it is, as I've stated, and I've already talked about it already in detail, but again, I'm just so happy that it's one of those patterns that you can at least work on it mindlessly, or really, it's not mindless, but you know, you're just working on it while you're able to do other things, you know, whether it's listening to audiobooks or watching TV or something. And so I'm happy about that. And I think that is it. I think, yeah, that is it for the works in progress. That was the last work in progress. And I wanted to share with you what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing my hanker sweater, which is by Kim Hargraves. It is from her Covet collection. And I paired it today with my Simplicity 8175 corduroy skirt, which I really like. And I did shorten the sleeves of this version here because I just didn't want them to be too long. But this sweater has a similar construction to the blank sweater, except for if you look closely, it kind of has a cable going down each side. But I really like it. It's a roomy sweater, and the weather definitely has been dropping a lot. The temperatures, and not the weather, the temperatures have dropped a bit, and it's definitely cooler in the mornings. And I find myself reaching for this sweater a lot because I really like the high neck. It's just really cold, cozy and warm, and I don't have to like think about what I'm going to wear, because if you just put the sweater on, you can pair it with almost any skirt or pants and it just works, and you have like a quick instant outfit. And so yeah, that is what I'm wearing today. Okay, and I'm going to take a brief break, and I want to share with you some things for the Give Love Christmas knit along. All right, So, as you all may know, or even if you don't, if you're new to the podcast, I'm hosting a knit along called the Give Love Christmas Knit Along, in which we're just knitting gifts, whether for ourselves or our loved ones, up until Christmas Day. And it can be anything from garments to toys to socks, accessories, whatever it is. And so I was contacted by the lovely Jane on Ravelry, and she wanted to give a donation to for the giveaways for the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. And so she asked me to check out her shop, which was, oh my goodness, so inspiring, so amazing, on Etsy. And I did, and I was looking for things that kind of brought to mind the holidays. Sorry about that noise. Because, you know, it is kind of like a holiday knit along. And so she so kindly sent 2 prizes that are going to be a part of the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. And in addition to that, she even sent me, she sent a 3rd in which I can choose from. And I haven't made a choice yet because it's so hard. Everything is so beautiful. But I wanted to share those with you to keep you inspired for the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. And if you want to check out her shop, it is the Tiny Toadstool Cottage. It's hand-dyed yarn, and that's the name of her Etsy shop also. She also has a Facebook page, and I'm gonna see if I could just show this to you. Is that clear? Okay. So that's her card there. And first of all, she was so generous, which is so amazing. I mean, I just can't thank Jane enough for this. But in addition to that, she, let me pull out her card, has provided a discount code for you all if you wanted to check it out for her shop. So, as I've stated, her shop is Tiny Toadstool Cottage on Etsy. And use the code Constance10 if you want to receive a discount of 10%. And Constance, of course, is my name. So that's CONSTANCE, all caps, and then 10. And maybe I'll try to put that beneath here for you all to use that code if you wanted to check it out. Okay, so I've talked a lot, and I wanted to share with you this gorgeous yarn. So first, this is what I've chosen from her shop, and I also told her to make some choices too, because, you know, everything was so amazing. But when I saw this just screamed Christmas because it was a sparkly yarn base, and look at those colors of pink and green. Oh my goodness, you can kind of see the sparkle, you guys. Even it's showing up beautifully on the camera. Oh goodness. So that's what I chose to be a part of the prize too. And oh, everything is packaged so beautifully. They come in these cute little bags. Let me put it back in the bag. And also you'll receive there's a tea bag with every gift also. So yeah, that was the one I just shared with you. Also, I don't want to take these out because they're packaged so beautifully and I don't want to mess them up. But look at this set of minis. Can you see them through the bag? I think you can see them quite nicely. Oh, they're so pretty. You guys, look at that fade. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And again, it's packaged so beautifully. So that'll also be a part of the giveaway. Now, I must admit that I'm really flocking to this. And she told me I could keep one for myself. And I'm just thinking this would be the perfect pair of holiday socks. And I think that I may keep this one for myself. But this is... It comes with a contrast yarn, you see, which will be perfect because I love doing contrast heel, toes, and cuffs. With this beautiful, look at those colors, you guys. That's like Christmas. It just has Christmas written all over it. And so I'll take this one out the bag because and it comes together. Oh, it has that sparkle base I just absolutely love. Okay, so beautiful. Can you see the sparkle? I think you can. I love it so much. So that was just, Jane, thank you so much for the generous donations for the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. And so that's already just a taste of the giveaways. And of course I'll be adding some gifts to some skeins of yarn and also maybe some books as prizes. So it looks like we may have quite a few prizes for the knit along. I haven't been in the chatter thread much on Ravelry because I've been traveling a bit and I've been a bit busy also with other things. But I'm hoping to join soon because I just want to update the group on the progress that I've been making with my sweaters. And I have completed one project, and I'm hoping to finish another sweater in the coming weeks. And then I'll finally start on that last sweater. And so I hope that all of your Christmas knitting is going along wonderfully also. But I think that is the bulk of what I wanted to share in today's podcast. And I'll hope to see you all next month, which will be the last podcast for the year. And usually I like to end the year with a recap of everything that I've made. And so that is what I hope to do in the next podcast. So I should see you all next month in December. And in the meantime, just have fun with your knitting, your crafting, your sewing, or whatever brings you joy. And also stay safe and well. All right, you guys, I'm going to end the podcast here. Bye.